Hi everyone, Nicholas Devine, Assistant Professional out here at Lake Carrinup Country Club, and it has been an absolutely long time since I've done a review. I've had so many things going on here at Lake Carrinup with the Aussie Amateur, the World Super 6 from the European Tour, as well as stuffing my elbow up whilst camping. So I haven't really been out posting videos like I said I was going to be at the start of 2018. But over the next 5 days I'm going to lay it thick and fast for you, because it is time for me to play catch up. And first of all, Monday, TaylorMade M3, TaylorMade M4. Been out a couple of weeks now, but now you get to hear my opinion on these two new drivers. So hang out for this video, we'll check them out. Now M3, M4, just like the M1, M2, we had a low spin model and we had a high spin model, but they would also argue that they had a low spin model that could be a low spin and a high spin. But I'm going to put these into two categories. M3, slightly lower spin, but you can adjust the weight in the back to create a little bit more, I guess, getting the ball up in the air, which will create high spin numbers. And the M4, which is going to be the high spinning driver, which is probably for your hired figured handicapper who needs a little bit of help with getting up in the air. But let's look at the two major technologies, or three in the M4 and two probably in the M3. But the one characteristic they both carry is what they call the Hammerhead, which is this little slot down here in the bottom of the driver, and also twist face, which you can see it written on the face. Now those are probably the two most key components that both these drivers carry. Now twist face isn't something new, we have seen it a long time ago, but now they've brought it back. Now twist face, comparison to your general driver, you've got what we call the bulge and roll, where it bulges in the middle and rolls out towards the side. Twist face, there's kind of an odd shape to the face, and you can see the image coming up on the screen provided by TaylorMade. You can see how there is a twist. It gets slightly open towards the toe and then curves off. It's got a little bit of a different angle to what we're used to seeing. What TaylorMade are saying is this twist face, whether you hit it out of the toe or the heel or the center, it's going to work the ball back towards the middle of the fairway. Will that be true? Well, once I start hitting, I'll soon find out. But I'm going to put some face tape on these two drivers to see whether or not I hit it out the toe if it comes back towards the middle, or whether I hit it out the heel it comes back towards the middle. Some people have got varying views on these drivers, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see how it goes. The other big feature is the Hammerhead technology, which is that slot down the bottom there. Now we've seen speed slots, we've seen all those kinds of things from lots of drivers before, but what they're saying about this Hammerhead technology is it's supposed to keep the ball speed up on those balls that are hit fairly low out of the face. So it'd be good also to see how the face tape works and to see how the numbers work, to see if that actually happens. Geoacoustic sound on the M4, supposed to help the ball get more spring off the face. Again, something else that I haven't seen before, and it's a new technology, but it'd be interesting to see how it goes. Now when you look at both these heads from the top, something new that TaylorMade has brought in, and something that we're all used to seeing with TaylorMade heads, is when you look at the top of the head, we're used to seeing that carbon fiber back, but then we're used to seeing that white section at the front. Now with these new M3 and M4, you can see TaylorMade has switched it to silver, and you'll see that coming up on the images now. To me, I like it better. To a lot of people, they prefer the white. Totally up to you. It's an opinion that, but it'll be interesting to see how people take on that concept. I really like the silver. Some people don't, but leave a comment in the comment section and let me know whether you like it or not. M3 at the bottom has got the sliding weight scale, so you can leave the two weights at the front to get as minimal spin as you possibly can to keep the ball flight down, but then you can also adjust it to fade and draw. Whereas M4, it's just the weight at the back. Again, it's more for the average player or the higher handicap player who needs the ball, who needs a little bit more help to get the ball in the air. So M3 for me is the least forgiving out of the two models. Now, just for the testing in this video, I am using the Hazardous 6.0 stiff shaft, and I'm just going to be switching out between the two so we can get a fairly good comparison on the two models. That's really all I can say about these two drivers. like I said, the big feature here is the twist face, and to see how that actually is going to work and if it actually does work. And like I said, I've seen a few other reviews on YouTube and people will either like it or they will hate it, but I'm going to give you my opinion on whether or not I like it or hate it. Now, funny enough, if you actually look at the M3 and M4, kind of reminds me of the BMW colours of the car. I don't think there's any connection there whatsoever, and I'm sure we're going to hear a lot about that, but I do like the colour scheme of the M3 and M4. You know, M3, M4 and BMW is one of my favourite cars, so it'll be interesting to see if there is any connection, but like I said, I doubt it very much. Anyway, I'm going to start off with the M3 first, and I'm going to put the two weights at the front first, and I'm going to see if we can get some lower spins with it, and then I'm going to adjust it to the back. Not necessarily going to go to fade and draw bias, I just want to see how the spin changes from front to back. Also, I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to put some face tape, and I'm going to see each individual shot, and then we'll just see how, whether or not if I do hit it out the toe, if it has any effect on the flight, and whether I hit it out the heel, has any flight. But I'm actually hoping I hit every single thing out of the middle. But like I said, the twist face is there to help you get it back into the middle of the fairway. Anyway, enough talking. We'll start hitting. Like I said, M3 first. I'll start with the weights at the front, and then we'll move it to the back, and then we'll have a hit with the M4. Let's see how we go. Okay, so here we go. I've got the, like I said, the M3 first, and I've put all the weights at the front just to see what it's like with a slightly lower spin. Now, just a reminder, I do use a SkyTrack launch monitor to grab all my ball data, and I'm also using an NXT Tour S as our golf ball to hit. Now, first and foremost, when I put this face down on the ground, some people have actually asked me, can I actually see the twist? Now, if I look at it closely and I concentrate pretty hard on it, yes, you can see the twist, but really to the naked eye, it doesn't really look any different. So you can't really see the twist unless you actually bring the club face really close to your face and actually look for it. Then you will actually see it. Now, just also, M3 I've got in the 440cc, and the M4 I've got in the 460cc. And like I said, I'm using the Hazard 6.0 stiff shaft to hit. Anyway, let's get into hitting and see how this baby goes. Straight off the bat, pretty nice sound. And I've got that one a little bit high out the face. Didn't catch it all. And numbers show I didn't really hit that one too well, but perks of it, down the middle of the fairway. Alright, let's try number two. Now, relatively high ball flight, considering I've got both the weights at the front. But let's just have a look at the spin numbers. 3447, that's quite high. But in saying that, I'm catching it a little bit high out of the face today. And to be honest, my elbow's not still 100%. I really shouldn't be doing this, but I needed to get these videos out. Now, funny enough, I've hit that one slightly right side of the face, and I'll try and bring the camera to you so you can see the marking just here. And TaylorMade said that's supposed to help it work back towards the middle, but as you can see from the images and what I saw, it did work a little bit to the right. Anyway, I'll hit one more with this, and then I'm going to adjust the weights back, and then I'm also going to change the colour. Now, I've hit that one pretty well. And so far, I'm hitting everything slightly out of the middle, if not high right of the face. And most of them are slightly gone right, but working back towards the middle. Now, let's just switch the spin. Well, let's weight the weight back to see what actually happens. And I'm actually spinning it at 3410, which is pretty high for me. I'm usually around the 20 to 25 mark. So, not liking the look of this too much right now, but let's just see what happens when I put it back, and let's see if it actually changes the flight just a little bit. Okay, so I've adjusted the weights now to the back, I've got one at the front, one at the back. Let's see what that does. So far, when I'm looking at the face tape, I'm catching it out of the middle, if not slightly towards the toe. And you know what, other than one going slightly right, everything else has worked back towards the middle. So maybe it is working. Okay, that's not a good one. That's gone right. That was just a straight up bad swing. Wowzers, that's high. But not much higher than the M3 when I had the weights at the front. So, you know, not too bad so far. But I'm not 100% convinced on this twist face technology. But when you get it out the middle, it feels amazing. Sounds good too. That one's a bit of a draw shape on it. Up at 100, 3541. All right, I'm going to hit one more with this, and then I'm going to switch over to the M4. Okay, that one felt pretty good. Not too bad. Spin numbers a little bit better and slightly lower in the face. So spin numbers for me, I really can't pay too much attention to because most of my drives are a bit high out of the face, and as you can see here today, yes, that last one was very low out the face, but the other ones were all up to the right and slightly higher, so I was expecting slightly higher numbers. But in saying that, when you got it right out the middle, it worked amazing, and that's probably the thing that I can't really give it enough justice today with my elbow the way it is. But when you get it out the middle, works perfect. Some of my shots, I will admit, when I hit it high and right out of the toe, I did start to see a slight right to left shape, but then there was that odd one which brushed out to right, but that could be just more down to my swing than actually the face itself. Does the twist face technology work? Yes and no. It did with some, it didn't with others on my testing just then. Anyway, I'm going to switch over to the M4 head and we'll see how that goes. Okay, so here we have it, TaylorMade M4. Now, straight away, when we talk about twist face again, because this head's bigger, it's actually a little bit more noticeable, that twist face. I can definitely see it a lot more in this driver than I could actually see in the M3, and that's probably because the head's a lot bigger. Again, hazardous 6.0 stiff shaft. It is a bigger head, it's definitely deeper, but again, like we said, we're going from a 440 to a 460. Anyway, let's see how this one goes. Okay, not a bad start. Now the one thing that you'll notice straight away is when you see it coming up on the screen, it's going to come out in green this time. So we've got the white markings for the M3 with the front slots, the M3 with the back slots in orange, and the M4 in the green. Now both the drivers, now the M4 I've got in 9.5, I had the M3 in a 9 degree. Spin numbers not too bad there, 2538. Again, caught it quite high on the face and slightly to the right, so I'll show you those markings. And as you can see, it actually worked back to the middle of the fairway, so twist face technology is working on that. Okay, so slightly better swing speed on that, 231. Like we said, you always know with me that I'm not a long hitter, but I'm fairly consistent. Now that again, I've got out the middle, slight good draw shape on that. Worked a little bit left of target, but not so bad. Ball flight, funny enough, isn't much higher than the M3. And when I spoke to the TaylorMade rep yesterday when I picked these up, he said to me, he goes, look, M4 is going to be the more spinny model, but he goes, it won't spin too much more, especially if you put the M3 on its neutral settings, and that's pretty much dead on right. One thing's for sure, but it is a hell of a lot louder. And that's probably got something to do with that Geoacoustic. Now I've hit that one out the right of the head, and it's gone a long way right, so I didn't hit that one too well. Again, it would be argued, would be saying, well, shouldn't the twist face technology work there? But the way I swung into that one, I got a little bit hippie into it, and I blocked it right as well. So a bit of a combination of a bad swing there. But I guess that's where you argue, is it as forgiving as other models, and is it doing the job that it's supposed to do? Again, I think it's definitely a driver that you as an individual needs to go and try, needs to go and test and make up your mind yourself. I love the look of it. I like the sound. It feels really good when you nut it out the middle. But is a twist face any better than the bulge and roll? I don't know. And that's a quite high ball flight on that one. But again, felt like I was going to hit that right, but it actually did straighten up and work back towards the middle. And like I said, not a long hitter, but fairly consistent. And there you go again. 97 swing speed, 226 down the middle. Now I'm not hitting it as hard as I possibly can because of my elbow, but we're getting a good idea of numbers and where the actual shots are going. Anyway, I'll hit one more and then I'll give you my opinion on this new M3 and M4 driver. Okay, so there you have it. Now we'll quickly just have a quick look at the numbers and all the statistics with regards to the M3 and M4. Now again, club head speed's not so high today. Like I said, damaged my elbow at camping a couple of weeks back and it's still semi-recovering. I can't actually straighten my arm beyond this point, but I'm going to be testing a lot of drivers today, so it's going to be the same case for every single one of them. Now club head speed 96, 96 and 98, so I usually number anywhere about 100 to 105, so you can see that it's down a little bit there. Spin numbers quite high, 3254, 3569 and 3402. So remember the top two were the M3 and the bottom one's the M4. The M3 at the top was with the two weights at the front. The second one, which is in the orange, is with the one weight at the front and one weight at the back, and then the M4 just standard as it is. And you can see there with the two weights at the front, the spin numbers were a little bit lower than the M4. M4 actually got in between the two M3 settings, and like I said, when I spoke to the TaylorMade rep, he said that the settings on the M3 when you adjust the weight to the back is going to be fairly similar to the M4, and it proves it just there. Overall distance 226, 211 on the M3 with the weight to the back, but I hit a really bad one in that, and that's why I brought the average down. If I was to get rid of that one that went nowhere, which is that one and that one, we're up at 226, which is exactly the same as the M3 with the weights at the front. So there you go. So 226, 226, 224 as an average. Smash factor about 1.45 to 1.46 on all with my slow swing speed, so you know, roughly worked out fine. So overall, what do I think of the M3 and M4? Now if I get the faces back quickly, which I'll quickly go get now, you can see there, and this is the M3, you can see that I've got a lot out of the middle and then slightly towards high on the toe. The better ones were of course slightly lower in the face and out of the middle, and then with the M4 you can see again one out of the middle and then slightly sliding up to the right of the toe, and that's probably why I was hitting a lot of shots slightly to the right, if not working back to the middle fairway, if not pushing off to the right. So like I said, not hitting at the best, elbow is still sore, but relatively worked out fairly well. Does a twist face work? It can be argued. You could say with some of my shots it did work, with some of my shots it didn't work, but it's definitely a driver out there for you to go on, try out and try and hit. Sound on the M4 is quite loud in comparison to the M3. I'm not a big fan of high-pitched sound drivers. Some people are, some people aren't, but again, it's up to you for you to go and try. Technology of them, again, like I said, Hammerhead technology, which is supposed to keep the ball going when it's hit low out of the face. I didn't hit anything too low out of the face, so I can't really tell you that. But twist face technology, again, like I said, I think it's something that you as an individual need to go out and try. Anyway, there you have it, TaylorMade M3, M4, and like I said, towards the later stage of this week, I'm going to check out the M3 and I'm going to put this up against all the low spin models of 2018. So I've got the ST180 from Mizuno, I have the Rogue Sub-Zero, I have the G400 LS, and what else do I have? There's 5 drivers, and the Cobra F8 Plus. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes up against those other 4 models, and vice versa with the M4. I've got the GT180 in the Mizuno, I have just the standard Rogue, I have the F8 in the Cobra, and I have the M4 of course. So there's 5 drivers in each category, and we're going to see them go head to head against all the models that have just been released this year. So that'll be a video to hang out for on Thursday and Friday. But there you go, M4, M3, go try it, definitely worth trying. Your opinion might be totally different to mine. I think this is a driver where you definitely need to make your own opinion. Anyway, make sure you hit the like button, smash the subscribe button, help me get to 1,000 subscribers, because right now YouTube's changed the laws on us, and all the funding that I get helps me able to do these videos. So I need to get to 1,000 subscribers, so please smash the subscribe button. And most of all, we'll see you next time on ND.